You could write 20 to 30% more business when you quote earthquake on every homeowner's risk. Arrowhead General Insurance Agency. Get your insureds ready for the next big one.
About 10 years ago, noted insurance sales consultant Emily Huling wrote her book, Selling in a Hard Market. Given signs a hard market may be returning, Insurance Journal's Andy Simpson thought it would be a good idea to check in with Huling, president of Selling Strategies, to ask if the strategies for successful selling in a hard market are different today than they were 10 years ago.
No, I don't think they're any different than they were 10 years ago. In fact, what I found is that the agents that have applied the principles of selling in a hard market from 10 years ago and have kept those practices in place are the ones that are best positioned to handle this transitioning market today. The tips are so fundamental, and I have a few of them I would like to share with you. The first tip is this: believe in what we do. This became so obvious to me when I had the privilege of meeting a woman new to the insurance business named Jean, and I met her when I was teaching an agency management CIC. A woman in her early 50s, new to the insurance business, and had been downsized from a telecommunications company. I met her at a break at the encouragement of her boss, the agency owner, who said, "Meet Jean." Jean's first words to me in this introduction were, "I love what I do." Isn't that powerful? She went on to tell me that she had been with the insurance agency for only a couple of years, and her primary function was to do account reviews. Account reviews is one of the fundamental strategies to retain business. And yet when agents and brokers get busy, what they forget about is doing an account review. So Jean went on to tell me that she had been doing personal lines account reviews. And sure enough, after she had reviewed an account with a longtime policyholder and increased coverages and upgraded limits, sure enough, there was a fire. And if it hadn't been for her account review and making recommendations and giving advice, the policyholder would not have been restored to, a before claim position. So she said to me, "You people who have been in this insurance business for so long, I don't think you understand what a difference you make in the lives of other people. Believe in what you do." Another tip I have is one to be in charge of any objections that you may hear. So in our minds, we think about, what are we going to do when the client, the policyholder, says to us, "My price went up and I didn't have any losses. Why am I paying for this?" One solution to this: be proactive in communicating with your policyholder. I have many clients that call this the no surprise policy. What's a no surprise policy? It's getting in touch with your client, your policyholder, when you know or suspect information that will affect them or their account, their pricing, their coverages, their carriers, or any other marketing that's going on out there that you know they may have gotten wind of. My goodness, be proactive. Who's in charge of the call? Who's in charge of the conversation when you pick up the phone and call your policyholder? You are. Who's in charge of the conversation when you are at the receiving end of a policyholder calling you and saying, "What's going on here?" The answer is a no-brainer. If we are proactive, we can prepare for those objections ahead of time, be up to date on what is going on their account, in their market space, with the competition, and you can be in charge of your account and proactive with your policyholder. The third recommendation that I have is also another fundamental one, especially in the changing market, and one thing we have to be very aware of is that the economy still isn't terrific. And that is this tip: talk less and listen more. And what do I mean by that? Even if you've spoken with the policyholder recently, a week, a month, even the day before, there's no harm in starting the conversation by saying, "Has anything changed since we last spoke? What's new? What's going on? Have you heard from anybody?" Just to get an update. I know here at any of these insurance function events, it may be only a week that I've spoken with somebody, and I say, hey, has anything changed since we last spoke? Oh, yes. Somebody's quit, a carrier position has changed, underwriting has changed. I mean, there's a lot of dynamics that go on. Perhaps a son is coming into the business is being bought, the business is being sold. Let's not forget to ask people those old-fashioned open-ended questions. Who, what, when, why, how, tell me. Get people to talk. There's an old adage, when you let people talk about themselves, they'll listen for hours. So be courteous, be respectful, talk less and listen more. The listening to people shows respect, shows interest, and gives you ideas to engage with. One of the biggest compliments that an insurance professional can receive is when someone simply says to them, I don't know if you can help me, but I thought you'd know. Wow, what a level of trust to develop with a client. For them to ask you for advice on something that they're not even sure that you are an expert in. That's a high level of trust. And that's absolutely putting the client's best interest in mind. My business is Selling Strategies, and my website is sellingstrategies.com.